Hey guys, BeaverLostAngler.com, and today we're going to be tying traditional building pattern. We're going to be tying Bob Clouser's Deep Minnow. And this pattern is probably one of the most effective flies ever tied. I think Lefty Gray's caught over a quadrillion species of fish on this one fly alone. And it's easy to see why. It's really effective. It gets down in the water column where the fish are. But it's also one of those patterns that I think is neglected. A lot of people don't pay attention to how it's tied, how it should be tied, and what you're left with is an ugly, uninspiring tie most of the time. When in truth, that's not really the way Clouser Minnow should be. I'm going to show you some tricks on where you can place your eyes at that'll change the action of the fly. Some things will help you out, different ways to get different looks out of your fly. And things that I look for in each of these flies to be the most effective in the water. So stick around, check it out. Okay guys, today we're going to be tying Bob Clouser's Deep Minnow. And we're going to start out by tying it on a size 2 Gamakatsu B10S stinger hook. And I think really for a lot of us, the Clouser Minnow is just one of those terribly overlooked patterns. Because it's a starter pattern, it really doesn't get the attention it deserves. We're going to tie this with a clear thread that I found at the Big World of Wally. And so far I've liked using it a pretty good bit. As you can see, it comes in a much bigger spool than tying thread, and it's considerably more cost effective. We're going to do a full thread wrap all the way forward, all the way back. We're going to stop right about here and put the eyes on. Now with this clear thread, one thing I've learned is you want to do 2 separate thread bumps. Now that we've done that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to trim off my excess. Just like so. Now that we've done that, we're going to add large pseudo eyes. Put them between the 2 thread bumps. We're going to figure 8 it on. With this clear thread, you're probably going to add a few extra wraps. Leave my thread here at the back. Add a little nail polish where I tied it on. And go from there. The next step we're going to do is we're going to tie on pearlescent flash boom. Take a few strands of it. 3, 4, 5, however many you want. We're going to go with 4 in this case. And once we got that, we're going to take it, pull the bobbin down, double it over like so, bring it down to the bend of the hook. Once we're there, the next step we're going to take is to add some craft fur. Now in the original pattern on the Clouser Minnow, you're not going to use craft fur, you're going to be using bucktail. Bucktail was pretty much the exclusive material of the original Clouser Minnow. I've switched to using, for the body of the fly, craft fur because I can use less material and it spreads out better in the water. Now craft fur, just like deer hair, has guard hairs, and the reason for that is it is an extruded fiber. So if you notice what I'm doing is I'm pulling out the guard hairs. From that I'm left with a uniform pattern of hair in the craft fur. Take that, tie it in behind the eyes, and lay it flat. Then I'm going to take my excess and trim it away. We're going to snug that down nice and neat. Then we're going to add at the base. Eyes. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and tie in our throat. For this case, this time I'm using pink. Colors are up to you as to what you want to tie it in. This whole fly is done as a shad pattern. So once again we're going to pull, grab what we want, pull out the guard hairs, and that's what we're left with. Alright. Once again, right here at the base of the hook, base of the dumbbell, loose thread wraps. The reason you're doing loose thread wraps is that traditionally this pattern is done with large cross hatchings so that the color is seen through the thread. Alright, now we're going to come forward. We're going to go close to the eye of the hook in front of the dumbbell eyes. And we're going to secure down the bucktail. So we got that. We're going to pull it tight, like so. Bringing it down. And this gives us this bridge. And I think really forming a good bridge is what separates a really well tied Clouser minnow from those that aren't so well tied. The next trick is taking your fingernail polish, going down that bucktail. Some people go so far as to epoxy it across this bridge. That's up to you. Now, when you're building your Clouser minnow, I want you to keep a couple things in mind. Where you place your eyes determines how this fly acts. If you place your eyes right here, further up, it's going to have a tendency to dive like that. When you leave it here, centered up, the fly is going to do more of this number up and down in its movements. So, depending on where you want the action of the fly to be, that will determine where you set your eyes. I'd like for this fly to be kind of a nice up and down so that it works as a really good jerkbait. Less erratic motion. Alright, so now that that's done and that's drying, what we're going to do next, we're going to flip it on over. Alright, and now I'm going to go ahead and tilt the camera down. There we are. Okay. This should be fairly well easily seen. The next color I'm going to add in is what I call breakup color. And the reason I call it a breakup color is this fly is about to become nothing but gray and white. And in nature, that's rarely the case that you have that much monotony in anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another color to break it up. Not so much enough that it really dominates the fly, but just enough that it breaks it up. So in this case, what we're adding is yellow. This is a shad pattern, so yellow is a pretty good color to go with. So we're going to look at it right now, and we're going to say, okay, we're going to set this up against it. Does this fly have what we want? Is this much yellow too much? I think right now this would be an overbearing amount of yellow. So we're going to thin it out pretty heavily. And I'm going to be left with just about this amount. I'll hold it up. Do I like it? Yeah, I do. Now, a word of advice on tying Clouser minnows. A lot of times we want to just kind of shove hair on it. And that's fine. It's up to you. It's a matter of personal preference. But I think you'll find that you get a better, more realistic fly if you use less fibers. It has a better flow in the water, and it looks better, and I've noticed that I seem to catch more fish that way. There you are. Trimming off the excess. Giving ourselves a nice, neat head. I'm coming down to where I stopped my bridge at. And then boom, there we are. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put in our next color, Flash Blue. And this time what we're going to be using is Mirage Flashaboo. Right there. Now if you can't find Mirage Flashaboo by name, that's fine. What you want to find is Olive over Pearl Flashaboo for this particular pattern. Once again, we're going with 4 to 5 pieces of Flashaboo, doubling it over, and going from there. There it is. Laying back. Alright. Now we're going to go ahead and do the main color of the fly, which for us at this time is going to be gray. So there's not too much to say about this step of the fly, except for once again, don't go overboard in the amount of hair you use. Go ahead, tie it in, keep it neat. There we are. You want your wing to be longer than your body. We've tied it in such a way that that won't be a problem. Now notice this. Sometimes your bucktail will come up and kick up as though it were body hair. And that's fine. So you know how to handle it. When this happens, take it, trim off the excess as best you can. Work your way down, keeping everything nice and neat. Boom, there you are. Now at this point you can go ahead and add a little more gray if you want to. I don't personally believe I will. Like I said, you could. I might add just a little bit more. So go ahead and do that real fast. Just a few spare hairs. There we are. Now this last step is optional. I'm going to add after this, we'll put on, alright, I'm going to put on some peacock curl. And that's all completely optional. Now I'm going to put the peacock curl on the top, and the reason is, to me, it goes ahead and gives it the look of like a fin. The darker part of a bait fish has always been the top. You normally see like a dark line going across top anyway. How many pieces of peacock curl is up to you. I invite you to go ahead and make sure you carefully go through your peacock curl and really actually take the time to look and find some that looks the way you want it to. So for me, we're going to do this in 4 pieces. Right here. How far back do you want it to go is up to you. Bring it to right there for myself. A couple loose thread wraps. Straightening it up. tighten it down. At this point, once again, just gonna go ahead, trim off my excess. Give myself a nice, neat head. And call it a day. So now I'm just going to go ahead and tie it off. The knot you use, it's up to you. You can use a whip finish, or you can just use some Zap-A-Gap, put it on the thread and go. I'm going to use 2 double half hitches, which is the traditional method. It's also what I've found to be the easiest and fastest way to do it. But yet to see a rule book for this game. So here we are. First one. Second one. This is my third one. And here we are. Trim off our excess. There we go. The only thing we have left now is to go ahead and trim up. And in order to trim up, what we're going to do is we're going to take our Flashaboo, kind of loosely, small little uneven goes. You're going to trim it in stages. Some here, some of this length, some of that length. So that none of the pieces of Flashaboo are at the same length. None are overwhelmingly long, but most of them stick out a little bit beyond the fly itself. So take these pieces right here. There's 2 pieces of Flashaboo. I trim them up so that they be at varying lengths. And alright guys, here it is. Bob Clouser's Deep Minnow. It's a fly that we often neglect, and I don't think take as much time with as we should. And I think maybe if we spend a little more time with it, catch more fish. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch y'all next time. Hey guys, thanks for watching again, and hope you guys picked up some pretty good tips. We've got things like placement of the eyes to determine how the action of the fly is, using less fur in your wing, and subbing out craft fur where you may have used bucktail in the fly. And you can get all kinds of different things in it. I like to make bluegill patterns, sub this out, and use like orange on the throat right here, tan on this body right here, and then put orange bars, and then olive, and just play with it and try it out. Things like, remember to keep in mind how you do the bridge, and there's a lot that goes into it that can take an old pattern that you may have had in your box you didn't really use because it just wasn't really anything there for you anymore, I guess. Who knows? But take it, play with it, reinvent it, try a few new things with it. If you're a beginning tyer, this is a great fly for you to take the time to learn, because this is going to be the basis of all the freshwater and saltwater weighted flies you're going to come up with. So take the time, try a classic, enjoy it, play around with it, see what you can come up with. If you have any questions or comments, please leave it on the page. If you enjoyed the video, press subscribe, hit the like button, and remember, check us out at lostangler.com. We'll be bringing you an online store soon, and make sure you go to Amazon, check out the book we got out, and we'll see you on the water.